Hello everybody, it's Mystic, and welcome back to my library. This is another episode of Let's Play Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker. The last episode was very feelsy. There were a lot of memories to be had of people that have passed, and yeah, it was pretty heart-wrenching to go through all of that. So we'll see what happens today. I have my box of tissues handy just in case I need it. And yeah, let's get going. Hither and yarns. Ahem. Thou hast my gratitude for lending courage to the Loperids. Not disposed to rest on their laurels, several of our guests have elected to accompany my countrymen to their stations. Some few may still come hither seeking counsel, and so shall I remain to aid them as need be. If thou art needed elsewhere, do not let me detain thee. As a matter of fact, I was hoping you might check on Alize. Last I saw, she was struggling to carry an enormous pile of boxes out the west gate. I could go myself, but we both know whose help she's less like to scorn. Not to mention that, much to my misfortune, I can think of several other things I ought to be doing. Until later. Celeste, what are you doing out here? No, I don't mind if you help with the boxes, but it's far from the most exciting of tasks. Are you sure? You're trying to lift all of those by yourself? Well, I appreciate the assistance. We need to get these to Oporia. Time is short, of course, but they're full of organic specimens and samples, so try not to be too rough with them. Alphino should be waiting for us when we arrive. I'll see you there. I have 3 minutes. Oh no. Okay, wait, where am I going? Oh, you're helping with the crates. Wonderful. You can put them here with the others. You have my gratitude, but how did you come to be involved in this? I'm actually not sure. Then I suppose I have Thancred to thank as well. Well, aside from Thancred telling me. But it's just so funny that I went from, like, crying to delivering boxes. If you're wondering why we were tasked with bringing these boxes to Oporia to begin with, so was I. It turns out that this is a base of operations of sorts. Those with a final say as to what is included on the ship's manifest can be found here. Father included, I suspect. That should be everything. You carried all of that at once? Are you trying to injure yourself? Oh, hush, they're lighter than they look, and not everyone has your delicate arms. I suppose we should let someone know that we finished. Theopaldin is in the courtyard. We can report to him. Why don't you come along? You should get credit for your assistance at least, considering where we are. We might even learn something interesting. Learn something interesting. There we go. Gods, it never ends, does it? What can I do for you? We brought the samples from the Charlian Hamlet. Series 110? The crates are by the entrance. Ah, thank you. I had expected one of my colleagues, but we are dreadfully short-handed. Just a moment. If you were Fortemps' children... Wait, just a moment. You are Fortemps' children, are you not? Alphino and Alize at your service. You're well acquainted with Father, I take it. Quite. I've been friends with your parents since our days at the studium. I remember when you were yay high, waddling hither and thither. Clearly, it's been quite some time since we've met. 'Tis good to see you again, wielding your father's new list, no less. You knew our parents when they were young? What were they like? Pray spare no detail. I should like nothing more than to regale you. Alas, I am meant to be in charge here, and reams of paperwork want for submission. We can help with that. In exchange for the sort of stories our parents would never willingly divulge, of course. Very well then. There happen to be 3 sets of documents in need of delivery, so how about you each take one? Wait right there. You will find the forum representative waiting to collect these near the southernmost structure. I hope I haven't kept her waiting too long. Never mind Alphino and Alize. I'm certain they'll be back soon enough. Are you not one of the Scions of the Seventh Dawn? I thought you were meant to be working on the ether burner. It's a long story. Theopaldin's paperwork. I was beginning to worry he had misplaced his quill. I appreciate your help in seeing these documents to my hand at last. As for your other task, pray keep this between us, but I sincerely hope you Scions succeed. The Exodus is, without a doubt, the most monumental undertaking in the history of the Forum, and so we must be circumspect in all respects. Risk is a privilege we cannot afford ourselves. At its heart, however, Charlian has ever been a nation of the curious. It would be a tragedy indeed if we were the ones to stymie your pursuit of truth. Quick and efficient, I dare say you have a talent for this work. The twins' papers only needed to be delivered to elsewhere in the facility, so they should be returning any moment. We return, with not a scrap of paperwork remaining on our persons, you will note. You both have my thanks, and my apologies for sending you on an errand far below your ambitions. Why, even as a babe, you struggled out of your swaddling clothes, and... That is quite enough of that, thank you. It was compromising stories of our parents that we'd asked to hear, to reiterate. Of course. I've known your father for so long. I must have something. Well, as you know, part of why the love of your name garners such respect in Charlian is that your family's storied history. You two can trace your ancestry directly to those who came aboard Niam Krep's Hope, a lineage few can claim. I've never thought much of it myself. It is not as though our forebears founded our nation. They were simply there when it happens. Nevertheless, it has traditionally been a point of pride. 'Tis why Neuenkreft's pronouncement, renounce the ways of war and pursue enlightenment through knowledge and reason, has ever been our family's creed. Until your grandfather's time, Archon Louisoix looked not to Neuenkreft's words, but his deeds. He asserted in defiance of his peers that choosing to save the great and the small from the rising tides was the true mark of our founder's virtue. Perhaps it was his expertise, his knowledge of ancient prophecy and the fall of civilizations, that led him to conclude that to eschew conflict at every turn was to consign mankind to his doom. There will ever be conflict, and calamity will follow. Thus, to ignore the plight of those one might conceivably save is not wisdom, it is indolence. You remember his words well, indeed, Louisoix lived by that personal creed and used every means at his disposal to bring succor to those in need, Charlatan or no. No one loved and admired your grandfather more than his son. Yes, Fortemps could not reconcile Louisoix's deeds with the philosophy of their forebears and his peers, a philosophy in which he believed so fervently, yet made a pariah of his father. Fortemps agonized over the contradiction of much of his life. God's father. A son may carry his father's blood, but his choices are his own to bear. It is not always thus. Is it not always thus? God's no Fortemps a cranky old goat, so I'm sure you butt heads often enough. Yet even so, you must know that you are constantly in his thoughts, every moment of every day, and that is not an exaggeration in the slightest. You should have seen him when you were born. Barely recognizable he was, with a kind of dumbfounded grin that I'd not seen— oh, this is so cute— not seen since he first took a fancy to your mother. He was practically skipping when he told me the news. Take my word for it, he loves you to an embarrassing degree. I mean, don't all parents love their kids to an embarrassing degree, though? I can tell you my sons would say that about me. But he is also frustratingly single-minded. Once he decided that a given action is for the best, he will stay the course no matter what, who or what opposes him. A profoundly annoying habit when you're on the other end of it, as I'm sure you will agree. I'll say. Thank you for your insight. When we next meet our parents, I shall mention that we spoke. Uh-oh. Under the bus you go, Theopaldin. Try not to get me into too much trouble now. I need the forum on my side. Speaking of which, I ought to be getting back to work. I have to make sure those specimens you brought make it to their proper places, or the cranky old goat will have my hide. We can speak again later. Hail, you three! Oh hey, Graha! Graha, surely Kolkol hasn't driven you out of the forge already? For better or worse, no. However, he has sent me on a task that requires more than my single pair of hands, and here you are. I could use at least one of you, but I won't object to more. Unfortunately, Alize and I have prior commitments, and we have delayed too long as it is. What about you, Celeste? Can you spare time? Sure. Anything for Graha. Perfect. This shouldn't take long. Once forged. In the event that our, and I quote, promised heap of adamantite falls right out of the bloody sky and into my lap, Master Kolko wishes to put the proverbial hammer to anvil at a moment's notice. To fabricate these parts, however, he needs the flames in Kolko's forge to burn hotter. He sent me to increase the amount of ether being funneled to his furnaces. The flow of fire-aspected ether in Labyrinthos is regulated by an elemental reactor south of here, to which I have borrowed the key. The adjustment will require 2 people to carry out safely, but I can explain the process when we arrive. This is where we part, then. We'll see you in Charlie and Hamlet once the adamantite arrives, if not before. This way, then. The reactor is housed within this facility. I'll be the one to go inside and adjust the fire ether output. When I do, a rather large amount of water-aspected ether will issue from the vent at the top. I expect this to attract at least a few elementals, which we would both rather not be drawn into the reactor itself, trust me. Can I ask that you put down any that draw too near? They'll pose you little trouble, I'm sure. Sure. Wait here if you would. Did everything go smoothly out there? Sorry, I clicked before I was ready. I thought as much. No major complications to speak of inside either. And the water ether appears to be venting properly. I expect Cockle will have seen a difference in his forge flames by the time I return. Since I have you, there was another matter I thought to discuss with you. Nothing terribly important, merely something I've been considering. Part of this I shared with everyone, yet you, and only you, have been to Elpis. Yes? As we have established, refined adamantite is a product of Allig. one of the Empire's twilight years, or of the Empire's twilight years, in fact. It was a material which saw much use as part of the Allagan's efforts to extend beyond the bounds of this world, Dalamud, of course, being the most prominent. Of those who would push further, expand Alleg's empire to encompass the heavens and the stars above, perhaps the greatest was this infamous technologist Amon, who is also Fantaniel. Amon wanted to travel the Sea of Stars. Did he remember his life as Hermes? I believe he had his own reasons. There is no evidence to suggest that he retained the memories of his former life. He only joined the Ascians once the Empire was all but dust, as you know. If not his memory, though, what drove him to pursue the idea with such fervor? This may seem far-fetched, but what if souls, like minds, have a personality, so to speak, a natural disposition towards which they are inclined? We know with relative certainty that it was the gross decadence and inexorable decline of Alleg that moved Amon to resurrect Emperor Xandi. The Empire's people spoke lightly of death and destruction, experimenting on those they deemed beneath them to fill the emptiness of their hearts, which was exactly the issue that Hermes had with, what was it called? The place he worked at. In facilitating Xandi's return, Amon provided these languid souls with the means to free themselves from the mire of their own indolence. Did I miss something? Hang on, let me see. No. Or would have, had not Xandi been convinced by his own death that life itself was meaningless. Amon's desire for his countrymen to conquer the heavens could only be a means to the same end, to instill the people with new purpose. Like Hermes before him, Amon was appalled by how those around him lived, but could never bring himself to believe that those lives were devoid of meaning. And both of them sought that meaning, that hope, in the distant stars. They did. Such is my theory, anyway. I mean, it sounds like a good theory, Graha. Ultimately, it is the consequences of their actions which matter. Their motives are of no moment, and yet, to reach those stars on wings of adamantite, to travel the ends of creation and beyond, the promise of hope everlasting, that much I do understand. But enough musing for now. Why don't we see how Kokol is getting on? That is really interesting. They were very similar people. So maybe because of that, they attracted Fandaniel? I'm not sure. Whew, I could feel those flames ablazing from here. Glad you found someone capable, Graha, but there's not much left for you lot to do. Unless you can conjure up that refined adamantite any faster. Bonds of adamantite. I do trust you to deliver on your promise. I do, only I hate waiting. I want that adamantite and I want it now. We, share your impatience, I assure you. Is there nothing truly else we can assist with in the meantime? I wish. The sitting about's unbearable. Pity the forum frowns on recreational explosions. Well, so long as they can prove it was premeditated, get you done, I've mistakes to make. In that case, I suppose we should go and return the key to the reactor. I'll have one more look to make sure that nothing has gone wrong, unintentionally or otherwise. I'm certain there are better uses for your time, however. I will join you in the Charlayan Hamlet anon. Right, so I guess I'm going back there. Wait at the destination. Uh-oh. If you wait here, your companions are bound to turn up sooner or later. Sure.
All set, I take it?
Hey, Ishtal, it's been a while.
We finished what we could. Delivered supplies, tracked down escaped animals. Trivial tasks as they may be.
I could just see him, like, running around trying to scoop up, like, a little gerbil or something that's trying to run away.
That's enough, don't you think? If there was anything more important still undone, that would be a problem in itself.
Yeah.
The vessel is essentially ready for departure. All that remains is to load the final batch of supplies and see everyone on board. Once we've readied the ether burner, that is.
Ah, had a feeling we might find you all here.
The gang's all here.
Our consultations with the Loperites, too, have run their course. Pleased I am to say that our researchers' concerns have for the most part been allayed, though some insist on making adjustments to the very end. For their part, Livingway and her peers have graciously offered to stay and keep the people company, lest any lingering queries go unanswered.
All that remains is to wait for the refined adamantite.
Alphino, are you there? It's me, Kryl. Your
Hey, Kryl.
special delivery has arrived. Round up everyone and come to the harbor at once.
Nice.
Speak of the devil. Let us go at once.
Why do I feel like things are coming together way too smoothly? I feel like something's gonna go wrong. What is this? Fortunal?
Forgive the intrusion, Master Fortuner. I bring urgent news.
Oh no.
A great commotion has broken out in Scholar's Harbor. Your presence is requested, with all speed.
Now, where might this delivery be? Oh.
Oh wait, okay. Things look alright. We're good. That's a lot. Oh look, everybody's here.
I'm sure it's very important, but we cannot accept these without the proper permits.
Look, Karen, we have important
By
things
the
to do.
12. Surely, these can't all be.
Bleeding hellfire! They're bringing them by sea and by air. All these folks in these crates.
And more on the way. Got your adamantite right here. A bigger haul than any of these sorry bastards brought, and that's no lie.
We didn't have to one-up anybody's C-card.
Yes, because you were charged with seeing the shipments from Gridania and Uldar here, along with your own. Give credit where credit is due.
Sounds like the sorry whinging of a sore loser. An hypocrite to boot. Ain't no way a scrawny whelp like you took a dozen steps inside a Dalamon shard.
I'll have you know I went all the way to the entrance.
Oh,
I played a
the
vital role in
entrance!
keeping a lookout whilst our expeditionary forces secured the adamantite.
I love him.
Left you outside so you wouldn't get anyone killed, did they? Well then, credit where credit's due, you did a right fine job sitting on your ass.
Take that back.
Make me.
Okay, look, y'all, we don't have time for this.
Stoop to your level.
My, what a grand welcome party.
Hancock and Saraban.
We come bearing relics both sacred and Allegan, as well as a few other gifts that may be of help, to be presented with best wishes from the Eastern Alliance.
Wow, everybody came through.
I myself have come with a sacred relic of the Kojin. Upon learning of your need, Bunchin bade me deliver it on behalf of the Blue with all haste.
This is awesome.
Fearing I could not swim here with the necessary speed, however, I thought to beg our Confederate allies for aid. To my delight, Hancock was already preparing for departure at the selfsame port, and had space for additional cargo.
That's awesome.
We did, of course, need quite the impressive vessel to get it all here in time.
That is all wonderful to hear, but what of the extraordinary cost? I shudder to think of the ransom we must pay for such a bounty.
I mean, we're saving everybody's lives.
Fret not for your coin purse, young Alphino. Lord Lolorito looks ever towards the profits of the future, and thus the East Aldenar Trading Company went to some lengths to reduce the financial liability.
He gave us a discount.
And since the Scions funded the entire venture, not a gill need be rendered up in compensation.
Oh.
Everything is already yours.
Nice.
We funded the venture. When?
I was just gonna say, it's gotta
Don't
be
let the name fool you.
Tataru.
This coin keeper knows a thing or two about spending. When it comes to capital investiture, a sprinkling of gil here and there will not do. You need enough savings to make waves when it really counts, which is why frugality is paramount.
And why certain people shouldn't spend 9,000 gil on a hair tie. But it's okay. It was worth it.
We also had the benefit of a generous patron. Generous being rather an understatement.
Who?
She has supported us from the shadows Since the very founding of the Scions, we even had coffers to fill.
Mother!
Oh, what?
Ameliant.
I love it! She's been going behind his back the entire
I
time!
remain, of course, an entirely neutral party. I simply thought our family's coffers were needlessly full.
I love her.
We can hardly take them with us on your teeny tiny toy boat, now can we? And we'd be ashamed to leave all that hard-earned wealth unspent.
Fair point. I love her. She's amazing.
Waste not.
Oh my god. What? I love it. Ha! Ha ha!
However did you manage so much in so short a time, though? We expected word to reach only a fraction of our allies.
Did I not tell you I have my ways?
Kyle! Oh, hey!
Erenville, you were involved too.
I received a letter from Cryo after we parted ways in Labyrinthos.
I was wondering where he went after that one cutscene.
She explained what the Scions were trying to accomplish, and why you might soon require the services of the Gleaners, spread across the world as we are. I pray you do not interpret this as a betrayal of Charlie. I accept that the Forum's aim in pushing us to our limits was to preserve what knowledge we have, and I bear you no ill will for it. Yet, in collecting that knowledge, what I came to appreciate most about our star is that there remains so much we do not know. That is why I chose to help the Scions, to combat the obliteration of those countless, undiscovered wonders. I held no illusions that they would be less demanding taskmasters. Though, rest assured, if I had, I would have been sorely disappointed.
Sorry about that.
To make a long story short, the whole of the guild ship cooperated to ensure your call was heard far and wide.
Oh, so they played messenger. Cool. Wow, literally everybody is here right now.
What's this about a ship that can fly to the moon? And why didn't you mention it sooner? The one time you don't beg my aid, your problem's a bloody ship that can fly to the moon.
That's true. Why didn't we ask him?
You brought the team.
Yeah.
Of course. Garland Ironworks' finest. You need only point us towards my new favorite ship.
As you like us not suspect, we've also brought adamantite for Mordona's Dalamud shard.
Nice.
I admit to some consternation upon first receiving Kryl's message. So few Scions remain at the Rising Stones now. Far too few for such an expedition. However, the Gleaners were able to secure us reinforcements. Idleshire's treasure hunters, not least among them.
Fascinating as all this is, I fail to see how it explains your presence here. Does Razat Han not have more pressing concerns?
We do. Yet averting the final days would be the most expedient solution. That, and I am indebted to you. Though they chose to take their leave of Thavnair, those you saved in Galimund remain my people. My gratitude is beyond words. 'Tis appropriate that I aid you in kind. If in the doing we bring salvation to others of this star, so much the better. You will recall that I spoke of my father, Midgard Summer, and his journey across the great expanse. As he traveled betwixt the stars, his resplendent scales drank of the ether in those nigh empty surrounds, and imparted to him the strength to persevere. Thinking they might further your cause, I called out to my kin for consent. Ajdaya's answer was silence. As ever, Tiamat and Xrivelgre, however, responded favorably to the suggestion.
Oh, I wonder if that was the dragon roar that we heard in
My
Ishgard.
sire, too, gave his assent. Thus have I brought you his own worm scales. Fit them to your purpose, and seek a worthier fate for us all.
That explains why Nadana is
You'd
here.
be hard-pressed to find someone else so familiar with the unique properties of dragon scales. So I invited myself along.
Bugger me, this is so unbelievable. I've gone right back round to believing it again. Forget a 6% gain in efficiency. With all these goodies, we could get 7, no, 10, no, 14 bleeding %.
Nice.
Think of how far we could go. What we could do with that much power. What we could blow up.
Okay, but we're not blowing things up.
If Kokol is duly convinced, then it must be true. In which case, the Scion's end of the bargain has been fulfilled. Would you not agree?
I'll say.
Yes, Father?
I know not what you seek of Hydaelyn, nor for what purpose you would take command of our ship. Yet this much is certain. To do so will be to dictate the fate of this star and the lives upon it, the lives of each and every creature, in their magnitude and their fragility. Do you understand? And are you prepared?
No, we did all this for no reason.
We have seen and we have felt how much each life shapes this world. And so we are determined to abandon none. We understand what is at stake, and we are prepared to bear this burden.
Aww.
Then
Finally.
I will bear it with you. I beg you, share your struggles with me. As family.
It's about damn time, Fortemps.
You grasped my fingers with such tiny hands the day you were born. I thought my heart might burst. 'Twas love and happiness beyond expression. Overwhelming. And a conviction so powerful that I trembled with something close to rage. I had heard the final days foretold. I swore to myself then and there that I would not let them steal your futures. The great Exodus would succeed, must succeed. No sacrifice or sin was worse than the alternative. If anything gave me pause, 'twas mine own father. The Archon Louisoix openly decried Charlian's policies, a perspective which I regarded with increasing disdain as I grew older. Yet even as part of me thought him a fool, perhaps I also hoped that he, of all people, would devise a brilliant means to save my children. A naive hope, but stubborn enough that I could never bring myself to keep you apart.
That's why he fought so hard to stop them from doing what they were doing. No, he wanted to save them.
That was his doing. When he perished at Cartano. As we pulled that twisted slab of Dalamud from the sea,
I remembered the warmth of your newborn touch. Chastened, I vowed never again to suffer any interference in my mission to protect you.
Yep, that's exactly why he said what he said when they met with him in Gridania. It makes a lot of sense now. He just was doing what was best for them.
No matter that you yourselves wished otherwise. Detest me, fight me tooth and nail, I would suffer it, and more, and be satisfied so long as I could force you onto the ship. I was wrong. You two have grown so much stronger and so much wiser than I dared dream.
Aww. I mean, I still don't agree with what he did, like disowning them like that, but I guess I understand why he did it. I mean, it's hard, like if you don't have kids, it's hard to sometimes understand what you do go through. Like, it's like he said, when they're born and they hold your hand for the first time, like it's such a powerful feeling, and like you literally want to do anything for your kids. I would literally do anything for my kids. I would never disown them like he did, but I would literally do anything for my kids. And I understand that part. I don't agree with what he did, but I totally understand it. He was just trying to save them.
You have earned the right to walk your own path, and already begun to do so.
Good. Because there are things we care about, and people we love, and none of them is replaceable. Not a one.
It cannot have been an easy journey for you to have come so far.
We shall be glad to acquaint you with the finer details someday, once this danger has passed. All that we have seen and heard, that we have felt and learned in our travels. Ours is not a kind world, but it is beautiful. Always.
Oh no. Are you quite sure that's wise? After all, someone turns pale and flees the room when he sees so much as an envelope containing word of your adventures.
He's just a worried dad.
Whatever will happen if he learns what you were really up to.
I love her so much because she's also been so supportive, but has done so in a very different way. And like she is probably, if I were, obviously I wouldn't be in this situation, but if I found myself in a situation, I would always choose to side with my kids. Like she has.
Though I have wronged my children most gravely, I owe you an apology as well. I assumed that it was the Scion's influence that made them so keen to charge headlong into danger. Yours, in particular. I see now that said influence instead brought them together with the many fine people gathered here today. In which case, I hope you continue to guide them.
If we've finished loitering about the harbor, might I suggest we put our plans into motion? People are beginning to look confused.
Perhaps you can spare a few words ere they resume the tedious lugging of cargo. You have no small number of friends and admirers here, after all.
I don't know, Alphino. You're better at words than me. Let's see. What will you say? Lend us your strength. Our moment of triumph is close at hand. With me! Let's do this one. Yay!
Your assistance is appreciated. Now, in an orderly fashion, if you please.
It's so nice to see everybody. Like, literally everybody has come together at this point. I'm so glad Fortunal finally, like, came around. I was really hoping to see that happen. We finally managed to clear the harbor, which means the rest is in the engineer's capable hands. Meanwhile, Father has issued us an invitation. As was agreed, he will reveal the means by which Heidelin may be contacted. We are to meet him at Aporia when we're ready. Given the vital knowledge she holds, I suggest we leave without delay. It transpires, however, that the Form's methods for speaking with her is not without risks. I'm curious to hear what those might entail, but regardless, be warned. Most of those who arrived with the adamantite have offered to stay and see any remaining tasks that need doing. The Form has already asked for my assistance in overseeing the process, so you needn't worry about a thing. Thank you, Tataru. We are off to Aporia, then. Alright, let's go. Celeste, I've already shown the others inside. You will speak with Clara Lane. She has the key to the lift and can send you down after me. You're with Master Fortunal, yes? Then just step inside the lift here. Alright. From here, we proceed to the heart of Labyrinthos and its most closely guarded secret, Thomazin. It marks the beginning and end of our efforts, whence we delve to seek audience with the star, and whence we will embark on our journey to the heavens. Oop, there goes my chocobo. This way, if you please. Oh, it's the ship! Is that the ship? Whoa. I bid you welcome to Thomazane. Direct your attention towards its center. Behold the ark over which we have long labored. As you can see, 'twas designed as a medium-sized craft, the better to reduce fuel consumption. Miniaturizing magics have been applied to its interior to ensure that the thrust-to-weight ratio does not place too great a limitation on its freight capacity. Why does it remind me of the Normandy? Hello? I mean, it looks a little different, but it kind of reminds me of the Normandy. The ether burner, as you know, has been removed for further modification, but we shall reattach it soon enough. I have received word that Cockle and several of your allies are working on it with an intense fervor. By the way, the Normandy is the ship in Mass Effect, which I've mentioned before, one of my favorite RPGs of all time. So that was the reference that I was making. They are sure to see it done. 'Twas by their expertise that many a disaster was averted. If anything, I fear they will not afford us much time for speaking with Heidelin ere they finish. Point taken. Let us move on. I must warn you again, however, that even with the benefit of our device, to treat with her is not a simple feat. Is she going to make us prove our worth like Vana did? I have done what I can to impress upon you the gravity of what lies ahead. Why do I feel like this might be a trial? Are you prepared? Yes? Uh-oh. Oh no! I need to be level 89! Oh my god, y'all. Look at my hacking outfit. It's so steampunk, and I love the heck out of it. Look at this! Alright, anyway, I still gotta go kill stuff. I'll be right back. Okay, I made it to 89. I just did a couple of side quests. I thought I had a role quest to do, but apparently I am caught up on that. So, yeah, her children, one and all. We make for the lift at the center of this chamber. Come. As you all know, alongside our physical world exists an ethereal plane, what we refer to as the ethereal sea. At the heart of the star, the physical and ethereal are one and the same. Thus, the deeper we go, the easier it becomes to pass between said planes. We utilize this principle in constructing the anti-tower, and once more here in Thomazang. No sooner did the Form decide to withdraw from Eorzea than we began to work on this facility. Our work culminated in a device that allowed us to peer deeper into the ethereal sea than ever before in search of Heidelin's ever fainter echoes. The Atioscope. And you communicate with her through this device? For a time, yes, but since the 7th Umbral Calamity, it has been rare to hear even a whisper. If you wish to hear her, you must journey closer to the center of the star than we have ever dared, beyond the Atioscope. Even so, I make no guarantee that you will find her, nor your safety, not so deep in the ethereal sea. We understand, but if we are to deliver this world, we have no choice but to try. I know. I only wish we could do more than observe your progress from afar. The Atioscope's ocular lens by which we may peer into the ethereal sea without placing ourselves at hazard lies above us, though through it we can watch and guide you. In those swirling depths, there are pockets of ether so dense and turbulent that they can unravel one's soul. If we determine that you are at risk of coming into contact with such a pocket, we can recall you with teleportation magics. To that end, it would be best if one familiar with the composition of your souls remained here to assist in assessing said risk. Otherwise, there is an increased probability that we will extract you too early or too late. Please, allow me. I have thought upon this much, and in truth, I do not believe that I am fit to join you in the trials ahead. The events at the Tower of Babel drained me, yes, but even before that, your capabilities far outstripped my own. This is no time to have a weak link in our vanguard, no matter how much she may wish it otherwise. If I assist in the manner that Master Fortemps has laid out, however, I may still be of use. Will you trust me to do so? Of course. I can think of none other I'd trust more, compared to all that effort you put into keeping us alive while our souls were in the first, preventing us from dissolving into ether or in a single expedition ought to pose no challenge at all. And even if we did, I expect you would hunt us down and restore us to health somehow. You flatter me, but rest assured that I will keep a close eye on all of you. I am so cool looking right now. There is one more thing. Those in ages past referred to the ethereal sea as the underworld, our final resting place. In its embrace, memory washed away, leaving only the purity of one soul, or so we believe. Yet what of these memories? Few think to ask what becomes of them, cast adrift on ethereal tides. Some theorize that they linger for some time, those associated with strong sentiment in particular. In those depths, memories of the departed may even coalesce around you for hatred or for love. Thus, I do caution you to be wary, but also have faith. Remember those who gladly did extend a hand to you, that they may lift you up once more. Is this a trial, or is it a dungeon? The Itioscope is now accessible. This feels like a dungeon. I've got everybody here. Oh, it is. Okay. All right. Well, in which case, this has already been a pretty long episode. I am going to start this dungeon in the next episode. So yeah, I will see you all in the next episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this. You can also follow me on social media, which I have linked down below. And you can also become a channel member or a fan house subscriber, which I have linked down below as well. Those are completely optional. So yeah, hopefully you all have a good day, and I will see you later. Bye.